Okay. Hi Monira. So here is the processing data file clean for Dr. Ahmed's data. So let me explain to you what this program is doing. It's cleaning the data from Dr. Ahmed. I'll explain to you step by step why I'm doing these things. So this one here is to read in the data from Excel. This is what you did here to remove all rows that do not have a student. That's good. And then remove all rows that do not have medicine or agriculture in their college field. And that's fine also. All right, then from eating pattern you remove the commas. That's good. All right, now this next part is to recode numbers as words. In the original data file, marital state was 1 or 2. 1 means married, 2 means unmarried. This should be unmarried here. Okay. So when we use map values, it will change all the 1s and 2s to married and unmarried. Now for self-think, there were also number values, and then these were changed to words here. I also did ordered because when R does this, it changes the order of the levels. I want to make sure the levels are in this order: under, thin, normal, over, obese, and morbidly obese. I do the same thing with history of obesity. In the original data file, the answer was 1, which means yes, and 2, which means no. When I use map values, that will change these numbers into words. I also want to make sure that the levels are ordered properly. So this makes sure that yes is the first level, no is the second level. So I do the same thing for history of obesity, weight satisfied, weight effect, eating pattern, snack. These are all the same for all of these variables. Okay. Similarly for these variables here. So all of these are used map values and then ordered. Okay. So I did that with all of the variables. I changed everything to words. Now here I select the variables that I want. I don't want all the variables, just some of them. So I selected from data file the variables I want. Then I calculated the BMI, which is something that Dr. Ahmed wants. We do not need the height and the weight anymore. Then here I did some additional recoding. And here's additional recoding. The BMI category is grouped into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. This will be a number value, and we will change those number values into words below. In fact, here you have obese data BMI category. This changes the category into a number. Down here we see the map values. BMI category is mapped from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to under, thin, normal, and so on. The same with self-image. Self-image, I changed this a large set of numbers to a small set of 5 numbers. So here you have obese data here, the self-image, and then here I did map values. So I changed to these values here. The same thing with preferred image, and the same thing with age. Also, to make sure that these levels are listed in the correct order, I changed the levels. I used order to order the levels correctly, so the levels are ordered correctly. Now, since Dr. Ahmed is only concerned about overweight and obese, I combined some categories here. So here's combined categories, or combined levels. Originally, the self-think was under, thin, normal, over, obese, and morbid. But Dr. Ahmed wants only 3 categories: normal, overweight, and obese. So this statement will combine under, thin, normal. All three of these will be normal. Under goes to normal, thin goes to normal, and normal goes to normal. Over goes to overweight. Obese remains obese. Morbid also becomes obese. So I do similar for BMI category, for self-image, and preferred image. Right now, the names of the variables is not good for the graphs. So here I rename the variables to have nicer names. For instance, F history obesity becomes family history. So these have nicer variable names. And then here at the end I show the data. So if I run this source, you will see it takes a moment. It takes a moment. So here's the new data. You can see many of the numbers have been changed into words, which is more easily understood by the people who are reading it. Okay, so we have, instead of numbers, we have words, no, yes, things like this. Okay, this is the original data file, which we're not using anymore. So I won't show that anymore. All right. So in my next video, I'll show you how to use this to make graphs. Okay?